Politics, just a reflection of some of the highs and the lows of the life and the times of the retired President Daniel Arap Moi. I think before we took a short break and when we were at Eseli, some fun moments there.
Yeah, I would also like to join other Kenyans in sending my heartfelt condolences to the family, relatives, and close associates, and Kenyans in general, for the loss of Mzee Moi. Indeed, we should be grateful that God gave him to us for all these years. It's always good for a country to have retired presidents. They also play a role, even if they're not commenting on anything. But it's good to have them there. It's a symbol of stability of the country. And when you look at the humble beginnings of Daniel Arap Moi, and he never rubbed it in your face about his humble beginnings, but he really came from a humble background, but he never rubbed it on anybody's face. And he was, okay, they say he had limited education, but you can see the intelligence in him. And I always argue that intelligence is what remains when you remove education from a person. And really the intelligence in Moi radiates clearly what he was. That's how he managed to rule this country. And we talk about him ruling for quarter century. We forget that he had also been a long-serving vice president for 12 years. So actually, you are talking of 36 years in position of power. It's a very, very long time. And we should also realize that perhaps, given the laws that applied that time as a one-party state, perhaps if Moi had not ruled in that manner, Kenya would not be there now. So we need to appreciate him. And usually, for many of us, when somebody is gone, is when we look at the good side of that person. I would hazard to say that Moi loved children. Perhaps the death of the Kakamega children was the last straw that broke the camel's back, if he heard of it, because that would have been very painful for him. He really loved children. When he took over power, I had just gone to university in 1978. While at university with the Association of Medical Students, Medical Students Union, we went to Kabarak, a place called Camp Yamoto, to do a free medical camp for the residents there. I know that's close to Kabarak. So from there, we went for lunch at his residence in Kabarak. And it was very interesting. He mingled with all of us medical students, greeting everybody, telling us how we had found the people, and so on. I again had a chance to interact with him after I came into Parliament. By then, he had retired. And with the principal then of Friends School Kamusinga, who is now the nominee to be the Principal Secretary, Higher Education, and so on, Simon Nabukwesi, we invited Moi to come and preside over an open day at the school. But really what we were trying to do was trying to get some money from him to complete an educational center, which is called Moi Educational Center. It's still there in Friends School Kamusinga up to now. And he graced the occasion and promised us money. And we actually went to Kabarak and he gave us a substantial amount of money to complete that particular part of the school. The only thing I remember that time is when it came to lunchtime, anybody who says Moi didn't eat meat is lying. He ate meat. And he had a good appetite. Maybe he stopped at some point. He had a very good appetite, to the point that I was already full, but because he was still eating, I had to pretend and continue eating so that I don't appear disrespectful to have finished eating before him. But I think he had a very good knowledge of what to do with the education system, to the point that he's the one who expanded university education in this country. Actually started expanding during his time. I think people need to recognize that. And while he might not have been very strong on the economy, but he was very good on stability, to stabilize the country, despite, of course, entrenching the issue of politics of patronage with carrot and stick. But I guess under the circumstances, perhaps that's the best way he could have done it. While many might not have liked his policies, but I think looking back, under the circumstances, perhaps that was the best way he would have run the country, given the circumstances then. I think there's a young man in Kitale, Trans Nzoia, who likes imitating Moi. during public functions. And that's how he makes his living. When there's a public function, he comes there with the signature rungu, with a rose, a suit, and so on. And he imitates retired presidents so well. And he makes his money that way. People like my party leader, Moses Wetangula, I'm sure they give their entry into politics was because of Moi. Moi is the one who nominated him to parliament. And that time, Moi controlled nominations. He knew who he was nominating.
Thank you.
As they say, he knows everybody by name. I think he's a wonderful old man, and I think for Kenya, we would we wish him what I would call eternal rest and peaceful rest, and we'll always remember him.
Right, thank you. Maybe just to bring to memory as well, we have this very interesting picture, and this will remind you how passionate also the late Daniel Arap Moi was about the environment, momonyoko wa udongo, and you can see there with the retinue of ministers then him pointing to, you know, a wetland there. We can just remember how he really insisted that it is important to, you know, preserve the environment, avoid soil erosion because of actually, you know, deforestation and all. Maybe I can see you string at the leash, Jacomi Dio. We can point at some of our...
I can only recognize Gigi Karaoke.
Gigi Karaoke there.
I'm trying to figure out the lady.
This is also the total man?
It's a man, actually. That's Biwott, isn't it?
Yeah, a total man. A total man. I'm saying it's a total man.
It's total, eh?
Yeah, the total man.
And obviously.
Yeah.
And
They're living our part.
Yeah, it's just behind you. On floor 5, you can look over there. I think it's clearer.
Yes, it's total man.
Wow. Yeah, that's total man. You're seeing it.
And that, the other one, I think, is Ndicho.
Uh-huh.
Isn't it? The other
Yes,
one,
yes.
the other side.
Oh, indeed.